Good morning, and today's pocket threes. So I'm in early position. This is a 10 NL game. Under the gun checks, and I open raise. This is my open raising range. Again, under the gun, I tighten up just a little bit, but pocket threes kind of right at the bottom. So open raise 3 big blinds, and the big blind calls. Big blind I have right now is 47-17 with a 3-bet percentage of 10%. I only have 37 hands, so it's not like I have a huge selection. You could see that he's played a 30% early mid position, and then he's up 60% for cutoff button. Small blinds, big blinds played 50% of hands. His called 2-bet stats. Really few hands. That's all I could say. So I'm going to think this player is going to be somewhat loose in his call. I think he's in the big blind. He's going to call pretty wide range. This is 28.5%. This may be way too narrow, but I excluded jacks plus ace queen. I do have him raising 3-betting ace queen, or 3-bet blind versus steals ace queen. His 3-bet range, ace queen and nines and sevens. I'm not going to include all of those pocket pairs just because this is it's not technically a steal. I think early position tends to be a little bit tighter, and players are, I think, less likely to 3-bet an early position opener. So we see a flop. Flop comes jack 3-2, hit trips. There's 2 hearts out there. Villain checks. I bet half pot. He calls. And at this point, I'm thinking, what is he calling with? I think he could call with any jack. I think he could call with those hearts. He could have maybe a 4-5. Could have like ace-5, ace-4. I think he could also have something like king-queen. Maybe some pocket pairs, 10s, 9s, 8s. So I think he's calling here pretty widely. 5 hits. I don't think that changes a whole lot. Yeah, ace-4 connects, but hearts didn't get there. I think 5-4 now has a pair. So I fire more than half pot. That's about 3/4 pot. And villain raises. And at this point, I'm thinking, what is he doing this with? I think king jack could do this, queen jack could do this. I think 2-pair could do this. So I thought maybe he would have 5-3 is kind of a long shot, but a hand like 5-4 where he had an open ender and now has a pair with the open ender, I think could make a lot of sense, and especially if it's a hard draw. So I called. River was a 5, villain 9 checked. If he has 5-3, he has it, or has a 2-pair with a 5. He's gonna have me beat. Pot was 70 big blinds. I just shoved all in for that overbet, and villain calls. So I'm curious, what does GTO say? So GTO has villain checking 100%. No big surprise. He's out of position. He didn't raise. This board's going to connect much harder with me. Villain doesn't have jacks and queens. I don't think he has jacks, queens, kings, or aces in his range. So he checks, and then I should be betting 95%, which is pretty correct. So at my C-bet, we're going to be betting super wide range. Basically almost 100% of our range, and I think I would probably do this. Villain, though, fold the C-bet. 33% went out of position, 0% went in position. Again, few hands. It's hard to really say what they would do. Take, for example, this player, 33% went in position, 56 went out. So we don't have a huge number of hands on that guy, at least in C-bets. And I think it doesn't look like he's folding a whole lot because this player is a tight player. He's going to have much better hands where he could call that C-bet, so he's less likely to fold. This player, 60% went in position, 47% went out of position, so his stats are a little bit higher. he's going to have more hands in his range where he will have to fold. This guy's crazy. I'm going to say super tight, and it looks like unless he has top pair plus, he's not calling because his fold to c bet stats 60% or higher. So I think if we're up against a guy that doesn't fold, I think we could check a lot of hands, but against a regular average player, we're going to be c betting here. So I like my c bet. And then villain's supposed to call with a wide range of hands. And it is a 5 of spades. So when we go, we're looking at he should be 3-betting sets. I think if he raises us with the sets, it's likely we're gonna probably get it in at this point. So if we raise and he comes over the top, we really can't fold trips. Surprisingly, we can't fold Jack 10. That's a hearts. Yeah, we're just kind of getting it in that case. So we raise, he calls. Villains checks to us. He should be checking most of the hands. I think it is kind of interesting, some of these hearts, especially not even the nut flush draw he's betting here. I guess testing to see how strong we are. So he checks, and now we could check behind 56%, but it looks like with our good hand, solid 3 of a kind, over pairs, we're still betting. Top pair starts to slow down a little bit. Ace jack of hearts, obviously we're going to still bet, but jacks, the other ace jacks, looks like we're checking pocket pair below top card. I think we're starting to check. So yeah, I think with the ace, we've got some showdown. We block the ace, or we block a jack by having one. We're going to start slowing down if we don't have anything, but we do. We've got trips. So we went ahead, bet. Villain raises us, and he should be raising us with, heart draws. He should be raising us with the straights. So he raises us, and now it kind of comes down to, and my question was, on that turn, should we be raising or should we just be calling? And I guess against a GTO player, it does look like we should be just calling here. So he raises, and what's the point of raising? If we raise, then what is villain, doing this with? What would he call with? I think ace 4. I don't even know if a heart. I guess hearts could call, but I think our play here is to call, and I'm glad I made it. So we get to the river at this point, and the river was at 5 of diamonds, which was great. So now villain had raised us, and now he's supposed to be checking unless he has 5s. 9-8 is going to be a bluff. 6-4s, somewhat betting. 5-3s, betting the few bets that he has. And he checked, and I think that kind of indicates quite a bit of weakness. So now it's on us, and it does look like we should be betting. So we are betting here. We're betting trips or full houses now. We're betting 4s. I guess with 4s we block ace 4, we block 4-6. Guess we're going for a little bit of value. Maybe the jack would call us if there's jacks out there. We're betting ace 4. We bet, and villain is only going to be raising with quads. Should be calling, his straights. And yeah, now we do kind of have to adjust some of our bet sizes. So these were like half pot bets by me. I do like his raise, but I didn't have, this was a half pot bet. Does this change if we let's see here, if we increase frequencies? So I'm gonna have to modify the tree a little bit. So we're gonna do 75% pot, and then add all in if push is less than 150% pot. All right, so I think we've got it set. We've got some of our sizing set. Why did I do 75% on the turn instead of typical half pot? Because my thought was hearts is going to call. If he's on the heart draw, he's going to call half pot. He's going to call 3/4 pot, and I was going for more value. Why didn't I do pot size bet? Good question. I probably should have done pot size bet here because that's a pretty innocuous card. Looks like I'm trying to block hands out. I do maybe some of the heart draws don't call, so maybe bet sizing. But anyways, we've adjusted it. Let me go ahead and run the solver, and we'll be back when it's done. All right, solver's done. Again, villain checks. Should be checking 100%. I'm betting most of the time here, and he's calling same scenario. And at this point, I don't have any reason to believe he's not playing GTO. Villain's now going to lead out those kings hearts again, ace heart, ace 7 of heart. I think those are going for, if I fold, hey, that's great. I get him. I fold, and he picks up the pot without having hit his flush. I think those are interesting hands. I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't have thought about betting these hands. So I think that's kind of interesting. He checks, I bet, and now he raises. So he's going to be raising some bluffs. He's going to be raising some made hands, some gut shots. All right, so he raises. And then, yeah, it does not have me raising at all at this point. So just calling again. I think that was a 5 of diamonds. Yeah, so it's still just calling. And again, I go back to his raise. If I come over the top, what hands is he going to call with? 6-4 calls. 7-6, I think, folds. I think these 10-8s, 10-9 folds. I even think some of these king of hearts folds. I think I think ace jack could probably fold. I think we're only getting called by hands that have us crushed. I just don't see it. And you can see he shouldn't have 2s in his range because he should have raised them at some point, and not here on the turn. I think he probably should have been raising here. Yep, 2s and 3s. Gone for the check raise here, but he didn't. So now he raises. I just called, and then villain should be checking most of the time, which he did. And now it looks like I'm betting here, and yeah, my bet size seemed to be okay between like the half pot or full pot size. If we're betting, might as well go full pot. I think we're betting ace queen, king queen of hearts. Those are busted heart draws, but we're betting trips. They're full houses. At this point, we're betting quads. I think these ace, queen, king, queen, 10-9, 9-8, 7-6 are all balancing the 2s, 3s, 5s, and jacks that we have in our range. Ace 4 is kind of interesting. With ace 4, we're betting diamonds, but we're not betting the rest. Same thing with ace 5. So, even with the straight, I think we're just gonna call, go see some showdown with that. So we bet, and then what hands does villain call with? Quads, straights. Does have ace 5 that he's gonna call if he's there. So what does he have? I believe he showed ace 4. Ace 4, ace club 4. So that was in his range. Loose enough that he's just gonna call. How did he play it? So we bet and he called. His ace of clubs, 4 spades, is a call. He could have raised it, so I think that flop call is okay on him. Ace of clubs, 4 spades, mostly checking, which is what he did. And then the raise, I think he probably, it's okay. GTO says to mix it up, but he probably should have just called, leaned more towards calling. This one is call 56%, raise 44%, so slightly more likely to call than raise. And again, can't really fault him. He has a straight, but he raised, and then I called, and then his check. Once we get down here, it is. I think this guy seems to have played pretty decently with that straight. So that's pretty good. Now, what happens if he would have just called? So I bet and he just calls on the flop, and then he checks to me. Now I'm betting, half pot again, or I'm betting, I'm not over betting the pot. Now I'm going to be betting, quite a range of hands. I don't think Villain's going to be raising. If he didn't raise the flop with ace-4, I don't think he's going to be raising here. He could, but the only hands I think he ends up raising is at 5-3. And I would significantly discount that because you're dealing with, one combo basically. I've got the 3 of hearts. Do I have the 3 hearts? No, I don't have the. It would be the club, 5 of clubs, 5-3 of clubs, so single combo. And how likely is that versus all the other hands? So if I bet and he raises, I can call, with the 3, I guess. Doesn't make sense. That would be a situation where we would take notes and say Villain just didn't deviate it from GTO. All right, so overall, I think I played it pretty cool, pretty good. I'm glad the hand worked out as it did. Kind of surprising, some of the hands that he should be betting here, especially leading that flop. So I'm gonna have to try see if I can incorporate some of these into my game. Some of those plays with the draws, with the heart draws, these plays, instead of taking the more passive line of check call, when I have the check call turn, and then if I miss on the river, it's like, well, I can't really call a river bet and so forth. If you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.